and it was just a short little post with basically just three main words, and I just kind of fed on it from there. And the gist of the post was stop, drop, and roll. And I thought, that's what you do when there's a fire. They tell us if your clothes catch fire, you stop instead of running. You don't want to give it more oxygen to keep going. You drop to the ground and you roll around until that fire's put out. And I got to thinking, I broke it down into a sermon, believe it or not. And under the first word stop says, when your emotions or the things of this world are raging like a wildfire inside you, what do you got to do? You got to stop. You got to stop the negative thoughts that are trying to ruin your peace.
Yes.
You got to stop it. You cannot allow Satan to come in and to destroy your peace, because that's exactly what he wants to do. He wants to come in. He wants to get you distracted. Yes. He wants to make you think that you're on fire and that there's fire raging all around you. And I got to looking, and I'm cheating here. I'm going to look it up on my phone. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6, I thought it was going to come up right there. Verse 6 says, humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of God, that he might exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him. Why? Because he cares for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And I tell you what, Satan wants to do nothing more than to devour you, than to get you distracted, than to get your eyes on the fire that's burning everywhere around. And you know what? The fire may be burning. You know it? You may not have a job to go to in the morning. You may not know how you're going to fill that gas tank up. You may not know how you're going to go to the store and buy the next bill of groceries. I've been there before. You may not know what lays ahead. You may not know what tasks lay ahead. You may not know what unexpected things may come your way tomorrow or tonight. I went to work one day and got that terrible phone call about the wreck that Kathy was in. I didn't know, but that was not the end of my world. God still had a plan for me. That plan continued with a great big hole in my heart for a while, but God still had a plan. I've been laid off. Didn't know where I was going to go to work. No jobs at the unemployment office doing what I do within 50 or 60 miles a year. But God had a plan. You see? I didn't lose my joy. I didn't lose my enthusiasm because things didn't go the way that I wanted them to go. I didn't say, well, Lord, you must not love me and quit going to church. That's the absolute wrong thing to do. But yet, how many people do that exact same thing? When our emotions or when the enemy is raging around inside us like a wildfire, we got to stop it. We got to put an end to it. And then I looked up over here in Isaiah 59. Jump down here to the Old Testament here. Isaiah 59, and starting in verse 19. And it says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy, and I like this part, because it's such a promise that I have stood upon, it says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, what? The Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. Amen. When that enemy wants to come in like a flood. And I got to thinking about that, and I got to thinking about Israel. And what's going on. The enemy had dug tunnels underneath the ground over into Israel. They were trying to come in like a flood, trying to destroy them that way. And the Lord showed somebody those tunnels down there. They stopped the people. They launched an attack God's enemy have lost hundreds. And they're taking the battle, God's children are taking the battle to the enemy. We need to learn a lesson from this. And when the enemy tries to tunnel in up underneath us or all around us and come up against us, then we need to be alert and we need to have our spiritual antennas on and we need to realize what's going on. And instead of just standing there saying, woe is me, what am I going to do? Let's take the battle to the enemy. You know, it's high time we start attacking him instead of just putting our shield up. It's nice to have that shield and be able to put it up. But why not take the battle to the enemy? It's good that we have a good defense, but we got to have a good offense. You're not going to win a ball game without some sort of offense. Your defense will prevent the other team from scoring, but your offense has got to put points on the board or the defense is wasting their time. And that's true in life. We can stand there with our shield and we can block those fiery darts. But if we don't start making some sort of offense, we're never going to get anywhere. We're going to be the same place this time next year that we are this year. And I don't know about y'all, I don't want to be there.
Come on.
So like I said, when the enemy is raging around like a wildfire and he's trying his best to ruin and steal my peace, I've got to stop. I've got to realize that my God is going to raise up a standard against my enemy, and he's going to start driving them back as long as I hang on to him. I got to realize that it's nothing more than an attack, that Satan is roaring around, wandering around, trying his best to discourage me. Satan would like nothing more than to ruin the church in the United States. He's doing a pretty good job of it. But you know what? Everywhere I've seen, everywhere I've read that the children of God were being oppressed and down, and the devil thought that he had them beat, there was always a remnant there.
Come on.
And then out of that remnant, God's army started building again.
And again.
And again.
Amen.
And again. Folks, we're that remnant.
Lord.
The world may not be worshiping the Lord, but I can tell by those here tonight, we haven't quit. I can tell by the way things went this morning, we haven't quit. I tell you what, that was some pretty good preaching this morning. Amen. I don't care who you are. I enjoyed it. And I got to admit, I had a battle going on with inside me. My belly, I didn't feed it right this morning. And my belly was telling me I'm hungry. And Brother Bill was preaching, and my spirit was saying, this is good. And the two were fighting, but we stayed. The spirit won.